let's just say original people of this planet, right? I'm gonna leave it there. I don't feel like arguing about no Aboriginal. I don't feel like arguing with y'all about no damn words. Let's just say the original people, they made dream catchers. Dream catchers are spider webs, and are mimicked off the spider web, and it's to show people that the spider could read your mind when you sleep. So most likely it's a spider in the attic, or it's a spider somewhere around spinning the web and it's reading your mind. Because like I keep telling people, the spider web, right? And no, I'm not no arachnophobic. That's a name that people came up with to discredit shit. The spider web is a satellite. The government, from the FBI to whoever the you could think of, they got phone tapping, tracking, all that satellite GPS. They got all of that from the spider web.
That's why it's called a spy.
I was going to say.
Oh.
And spyware.
Like a because they spying on the original beings on the planet to make sure that we not doing nothing or something like that.
No, it ain't to make sure you ain't doing it, because if it was to make sure you ain't doing shit, you wouldn't be looking and see.
So what would be the purpose of them monitoring anything?
They consuming the human population as a food source, making deals with government officials for exchange for armor, for highly advanced weapons and armor, turning vehicles into levitating, anti-gravitational, forms of vehicles. Like to answer this, to come back then, we was talking about the Bible. The story started in Egypt. Yes, spiders invaded Egypt, but they hide it in the Bible as Dracula through what they call blood. But blood, whenever you hear somebody talking about blood or Dracula, that's always code name for spider. The first plague of Egypt was what? Blood. Spiders, Dracula. And then, brain jumping. That's right. Told you just finna get jumping.
Okay.
Right. Dracula.
What?
And before you go, let me get the second one out.
Okay.
And then after the first plague, what was the second one? And I'm pausing. The frog. The bodyguard of the spider. Frogs came because they was attracted to the frequency being built by the pyramids, and they crawled.
So if these spiders, they want all of these weapons, and all of this stuff that you see.
No, humans wanted it.
Okay, well
humans wanted it.
Okay, but the spiders are the spies, and they want all of these things and stuff like that. What the hell? What are they in my house?
Spiders have a lifespan.
Weapons and shit.
Spiders have a lifespan of 300 to 400 years. Most people don't know that. And they have babies by the thousands, if not hundreds. So 2 spiders in your house would turn into 2,000 spiders in like 30 days.
Yeah.
And so what happened was, it's pretty much the leftovers. The planet was invaded. It was a war like 6,000 to 10,000 years ago. That's how the Garden of Eden became a desert, aka Egypt became a desert. Spiders ripped up all the plants in the roots. They crawled in. That's why the capstone ain't on the pyramid. They crawled in the capstone, spent their web, and intercepted the literal latitude and longitude line of the planet, and literally intercepted the reincarnational process of the planet. And then it's 6,000 years later, and here we are, because we were invaded by a species that out-sexually produced us. And this is what happened also in World War II. I bring this up all the time. World War II, the Holocaust is a lie. It wasn't about nothing other than spiders. If you look up the Holocaust, millions of people did not die. Probably only, and I'm not degrading it, because even if one person died, that still hurt to somebody. So don't think I don't have for people's families, just as I don't know. But what I'm saying is the numbers was greatly inflated. It wasn't no 5-10 million. It was like 250,000 to 100,000, like 100,000 to 250,000 people. And what happened was the Jewish government, Israel in America, was experimenting with spiders, and they didn't, for some reason, maybe somebody didn't inform them, maybe they didn't give a fuck, I don't know, but they didn't contain them, and then started having babies to the point where you couldn't put them in a tank. Right, you can't put them in this place, and they started crawling out into the general public, and the government covered it up and said you got lice and you got fleas. Right. But if you zoom in, thank you, told you this gonna get cooking. But if you zoom in on a lice or a flea, it's a small spider, just like a puppet is a puppy is a small dog, and a cub is a small cat. And a calf is a small cow or whatever, what you call a deer. Right, so they covered it up, and they didn't want to say, yeah, we got about 200 tarantulas under the ground. We got them. We just down there genetically engineering and all kinds. They didn't want to say that, so they just said, right. So they just blanked it on racism. This white man Hitler, who came out to see this black man Jesse Owens, who even though Jesse Owens was in this country, was not getting supported by the whole country. This white man from Germany came way over here to support this black man, and when he came over here to support us, a little bit before he came, he caught us doing experiments with that's not from this planet, and to cover it up. Not saying we, but I'm just speaking as if I was them. To cover it up, they just said that it was racist and he started a war. But in reality, if racism against black people was enough to start a world war, it'd be a world war every 15 minutes.
The government targeted you?
Well, targeted me, but also I would just say, had I not knew the law or been wise enough to know how to get through this, and I would have died, I wouldn't be here. So for me, what really just blew me was just like, how many have y'all did this to that died,
so
that never
stress?
made it out?
You and Rashad Jamal had to run together, didn't y'all?
Yup, and we're gonna bring that up. But I don't know him though, and we still gonna bring it up. I would say stress, but really what it is, it was just betrayal. Like, and I say this on camera.
Was that stress you?
Yeah. Like imagine the government or imagine this racist ass white trying to clip you.
So they stopped you from making your videos?
Nah, them videos. I got deleted off everything. Them videos.
And you keep getting deleted on stuff. They keep closing your cash app. They keep closing your bank account.
What you do all the millions on YouTube? What happened with the traction?
Watch the natives that's doing these tribal dances. You can tell that they learn it using what's called the 1-2 step method, which is the same way you teach the hustle. It's the same way you teach square dancing. And every one of their moves is a scripted move because they learned how to do it. It's not natural to them. It's a learned behavior. But when you see them Crips sea walking and them Bloods be walking, then you know that's not scripted. It's coming from their soul. It's their culture being expressed in tribal dance. In Detroit, they jitting. You know, in the South, they gigging. But they all got that fancy footwork. The tribal traditional dances that's coming forth because the DNA can't conceal who you are.
New Orleans second lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Alright, so I'm about to get ready and take y'all down an interesting rabbit hole this morning, okay? Now, when I was about 12, we stayed next door to this guy named Mr. Eddie. Now, Mr. Eddie was in the pallet game, all right, where he dealt with wood, okay? Real good way of living, okay? You gotta think, any grocery store you go in, anything you see is sitting on top of a pallet. And he had a contract to build those pallets around town, okay? So when him and my dad would sit on the bench, he had a bench up under his tree. When they would sit there and chop it up, he would tell us, you know, stories about the tree people, okay? Now, lumberjacks, okay, used to be the game, all right? You know, you talk to any lumberjack, you know, they got these stores, okay? And him and, you know, he used to tell my dad about, you know, the lumberjack game, okay? Now, if you talk to, it depends on what lumberjack you talk to. All these stories is gonna lead to the deals in the swamp in North Carolina, all right? All right, so of course, when me and my kids' mom moved to Virginia, this close to North Carolina, I'm like, yo, we got to get bikes and we got to go to the Dismal Swamp. And after finally convincing her, we get bikes and we go. Now, you're going to run into some snakes. You're going to run into all kind of things going down this swamp. This road is closed and you have to park at this barrel and actually drive a bicycle down this long road, okay? Soon as you get about a mile in, you run into this sign right here, okay? Now, this is verifying that the stories is true about the people that actually stayed in the swamp. Now, when you start doing your research on these people from the Great Dismal Swamp, this is what you find out. They didn't just master the ground, okay? They mastered the top of the trees, okay? They mastered building these elaborate tree houses on top of these trees. And if you do your research on some of these trees, like the redwood trees in like California, some of these trees, they don't know how tall they is, okay? Now, legend have it that they had some of the most elaborate tree houses in the trees. You know, whatever you think about we have down here, they have up in the trees. That's how they maneuver. They can get from one part of the town to the other one, from what they call towns. And like I said, when the last time you talked to somebody that said, hey man, I just parked my car and walked 10 miles in the woods, okay? Hunters be in the woods, but they'll even tell you some of the stories about they done been hunting and the whole tree count, you know, the tree stand just disappeared, okay? But now this is where this story takes a turn. You start running into these people with these tree houses, okay? Now, like I said, these are just stories passed down to me, and this is a book that I actually read, and some of the things that they found in that Great Dismal Swamp, okay? But you have to ask yourself these few questions right here, okay? When the last time you sat down and held a conversation with a lumberjack? That's one. The next question is, who give you permission to go in the woods? Okay. And another question you gotta ask yourself. Now, these are just stories, and these are just stories about the trees. But from all the stories I have heard from the old schools was the top of the trees was thriving, and here come some explorers, and even to this day, 90% of your fires start in the forest, okay? Start in the woods. Now, this is just a rabbit hole, okay? But y'all jump in the comments and let me know.
And we're not going to act like they didn't just drop pictures from the Titan submersible, like they didn't tell us it imploded. And now they're showing these videos, these very vivid videos of what actually happened. And as an OG 24 million views on one video in less than 24 hours Titan submersible talker, we need to talk about it. Before you go looking for my page of the Titan submersible series that I created that garnered over 40 million views, I want you to know that it is gone because that page is gone. This is a new page. Follow me on the new page. The main things that I talked about was how all of a sudden everyone went hush hush on the real details of what happened to the Titan submersible. They told us it imploded. It was bye-bye, no pieces left, no bodies left. And then after that, they showed up with body parts and pieces of the ship that they covered up because the FBI wanted to seal the information. And now all of a sudden they have this miraculous footage and these last words from the people who were on the Titan submersible. One begs the question, why was this all covered up? And it's because there's still some shit we don't know. And I'm gonna go back to my original statement by saying these people were fucking eaten by something. I do not believe what they are telling us. We're not gonna bypass all the physicists and people from the US who said, oh, it imploded, there are no pieces. But we saw them pulling up pieces. And now all of a sudden, it turns out they have this miraculous footage evidence. Besties, we can clearly see whole ass pieces of this Titan submersible. It doesn't look imploded to me. Let's not forget they were pulling these pieces up as well as body parts that they still have not told us what the remains actually tell about what happened. Some real unscrupulous shit going on with the Coast Guard dropping this information on us and thinking we're gonna let it go, because I'm not letting it go. Someone who read the multiple documents, the multiple lawsuits, all the information from this Titan submersible disaster, I'm telling you there's more to this. Those people weren't looking for the Titanic. They were looking for something with marine biology. And from the looks of it, they fucking found it and it fucking ate them.
there were two incredibly nice gentlemen at the front checking you in and making sure you signed the waiver. Just in case something happens, they don't want to be responsible. And my timing turned out to be perfect because I pretty much had the whole cave to myself. This area is just past the entrance, and it is probably the creepiest part of the cave. Maybe. The Freemasons hold meetings here every summer in August, and I'm not sure what they use this door for, but it looked a little bit ominous to me. But what do I know? And I think that's actually a baby binky on the ground lying next to it. I mean, doesn't everybody keep a freestanding door with a picture of a smiley face on it and creepy gorilla tape? It just seems slightly reminiscent to a horror film. And you know, I love just putting random concrete slabs in the middle of gathering areas. It even has a hole drilled out so you can mount a pole there. Because you never know what you'll need that for. Perhaps an impromptu tetherball game? The kayak you see hanging out in there is actually my kayak. Or Addie's, that is. It was the only one light enough for me to carry through the cave to the lake. These random pieces of wood you find lying around on the ground everywhere that have burn marks all over them are actually not from the Freemason rituals. They came from vandals who used to come in and try to burn down the meeting areas, which is why the Freemasons erected a gate and closed off access to the public. Now I'm just gonna do a little more investigating. Underground lake. And this lake is where the Paiute believe water baby spirits hang out. So here's to hoping I don't come across any water baby spirits. Because yes, they are as creepy as they sound. The only two people that were out on the lake exited the water when I got there. So I get to explore this creepy lake all alone, which is the way I like it. Being out here all alone on the water is the perfect place to tell a ghost story. Or how about a story from the past? I'm going to tell you the story of the Paiutes, the story of their creation. But don't blame them for the bad poetry. This is my own spin on their story. A long, long time ago, before humans inhabited the earth, before the great flood that destroyed all, there lived only the animal people. Surrounded by only darkness, you could hear them call. Whispers in the dark waters. We should create a land to raise our sons and daughters. Wolf sent Coyote to search for land, but he came back with nothing in hand. So the animals took turns diving into the great depths for mud to retrieve, until Mudhen dove and swam for days without reprieve. In her beak was a little mud and grass, Such a brave little lass. Coyote complained with such a clang, this land is too small. So Wolf he sang and he sang, until the land grew wide and tall. There was room for them all. Still there was only darkness. They saw a small light, dim as a tiny candle. So onto each other's tails they hung as if onto a handle. Onto one another they did hang. And then they sang and they sang. Bald Eagle was the leader. So when to the end they came, his head turned white. As he turned back to the others, his tail turned the same. From this great burst of light, it turned white as the snow. The place they came out is the place we now know, the Malheur Cave. All right, so check this out. Long rope leading all the way up to some kind of shaft. I knew they were hiding treasure in this cave. But you know, I love y'all, but there's no way I'm going up there. There are some things that I just won't do. And climbing into creepy shafts inside of a cave is one of them. We made it to the end of the cave, and I did not hear any water babies, but I did hear a lot of strange rumblings. It sounds like the earth is swallowing the lake. Now all I have to do is make it back out again.
Shalom, family. Real quick, check out this Titan on the side of this mountain. You see the two eyeballs, you see the full nose, and the full lips. Now, who does that look like? The veil is gone completely. Faces are on everything. The clouds, the trees, the frequencies. Confirmation, the wind blowing. We back. We made it. Shalom.
Two years ago, I had an encounter. This is important. Ever since I met them, my phone has been showing me what is here. 3 days ago, it's now showing me everything. Right now, I can show you every single airplane in the world that is alien. Not just that, I can show you inside, the passengers. I don't even know what to say right now. Just please watch.
Tell me again what the nonprofit worker advised you to do.
It said throw a rock through a window or something. That way, you get it back on paper. Come see me.
So you used to be on probation. You're off paper, and then you talked to a homeless provider, and they said the only way we can help you is if you're back on paper, which means you have to break the law again and get caught. And so they advise you to throw a rock through the window.
Yeah. As you said, it's the least thing. You know, it's not really big trouble, but it'll get you back on paper. Vandalism, I think.
You know how ridiculous that sounds?
Yeah, it's horrible. I said, you know this is what you have to say this to me for me to get help, and yet you're not, as an employee, you're not going to try to do something about it? Instead of telling somebody else to go do something wrong, wouldn't the right thing be to go higher ups and fix this problem? Yeah, not make the problem worse, or just keep feeding it, because now it's being treated like a business and not something that helps somebody. That's when the switch happens, I think. You know, that's when it's terrible, because there's all these people that really just need help.
Well, you just hit the nail on the head. What once was a cause has become a multi-billion-dollar industry. And then you got nonprofit workers advising you to throw rocks through windows to get arrested, to get on paper so they can help you. That's so obscene.
I saw a family in North Carolina load their infant and a bunch of merchandise in a Lowe's parking lot. And I suppose one could cross-reference their license plate with the Park Mobile data breach and find out exactly where the garage is that will store these new fancy tools. I watched a man leave his house in the morning in New York. I watched a woman jogging alone on a forest trail in Georgia. This trail had multiple cameras, and I could watch a man rollerblade and then take a break to watch rollerblading videos on his phone. How? Because the camera's AI automatically zoomed in on it. Just like it zoomed in on a couple arguing at a street market in Atlanta. So what? They're still anonymous, right? No, they're not. Within 2 minutes of open source intelligence using a commercial facial recognition engine, I found out that one of them just finished medical school and the other is dealing with chronic irritable bowel syndrome. The couple also just had a baby last year, and they have a pretty concerning debt-to-income ratio. I also know that they drove over 45 minutes from their address in the suburbs to attend.
What's that? Oh, something strange is going on right now after the announcement of new vehicles and how they're going to be able to monitor you. All of a sudden, 12 different junkyards have mysteriously burnt to the ground. What? But they can't be connected, right? Tell me more! Things are getting a little strange after the announcement of the new vehicles and how they're going to have AI. They'll be able to basically monitor everything you do. They can shut off any moment that they would like. They won't run if they don't want to because you don't look fit to drive. But now something strange is going on involving old vehicles in case you wanted to keep them. And what better way to get rid of old vehicles than getting rid of the parts you can get for those vehicles. but they're not connected, right? Oh, and then of course on top of that, over 700 advanced auto parts stores are closing as well. They're not connected.
Y'all better stop trapping in these 2026, 2027 cars. That boy was trapping hard, and he got hit with over 100 controlled buys. No one snitched on him or nothing like that, or told on him. Oh yeah, but that Tesla did. He didn't got all type of controlled buys. Y'all know controlled buys is when the police sent you, right? But the Tesla's not the police. But the evidence it showed is basically like the police set him up, because he was in that new Millennium car. He got the product on video, the dealer on video, and the clientele. In the location where they was meeting up to do all the sales. Y'all better stay out them new Millennium cars, man, because they self-snitching on y'all. And then it's going to drive y'all straight to jail and open the door for the law to be waiting for you. You better get out them new cars and jump into old school.
Let's get in to show y'all something. Where you gonna go? That shit barred down, top to bottom. Where you gonna go? You know something funny? If you in the main facility all day, right? And then they won't let you get some fresh air, it's called a fucking rec yard. This is a big ass fucking rec yard. And understand, when I say it's barred down, I'm talking about all the way front to back. All the way front to back. You can't make this type of shit up. With them guards and them exits, what is it gonna matter? What is it gonna matter? How many exits they got? Space alone right here can sleep 4 to 5 people comfortably. This entire space alone. This is this space alone. That ain't this every was taken and the rest was people there. Up top. That's crazy. It's an institution. It's just this one below. It ain't coming down.
These are two separate incidents, very similar in nature, that happened around the same time, but police say it's not clear if they're related. A large response in Williamsburg. The NYPD K-9 unit, FDNY, and Department of Environmental Protection investigate a sewer at Bedford Avenue and Hayward Street after cameras spotted about 8 men entering the manhole around 1 o'clock Friday morning and reappearing around 3:40 a.m. Neighbors just as curious to find out what was happening. Around 11 o'clock Thursday night, the same thing happened in Gravesend, 8 miles away.
They show the people climbing in, climbing out, changing their clothes.
About 7 men climbed into the manhole on McDonald Avenue in Collin Place. They spent 3 hours in the sewer and emerged at 2 a.m.
They get out, they get in a car, they drive away.
Neighbors were alerted when investigators showed up Friday to canvass the area. They were told not to worry.
They climbed in the manholes, they searched, they went up and down the block, and lo and behold, they tell us they dropped their keys. I don't believe anyone dropped keys.
A DEP spokesperson says the sewers have been inspected and the infrastructure is safe. They warn it's not only illegal to enter, it's also dangerous, as sewers can contain numerous hazards, including noxious and potentially deadly gases, unstable surfaces, flooding risks, and confined spaces. Councilmember Suzanne Schwang, who covers Gravesend, agrees it should not be taken lightly and commends the NYPD on their swift response and confirmation everything is safe. But not everyone is convinced all is well.
They just say, no, it's fine. It's not fine.
Still a lot of speculation as to what happened, but there is no confirmation as to exactly why these men entered the sewer system. In Gravesend, Brooklyn, Alicia Reed, Pix 11 News.
What?